Gervonta Davis promises an early night versus Ryan Garcia. But does a knockout really matter? What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Cardinal Red Sports. Let's talk about it. Alright, y'all. So, the fight is coming up very, very quickly. I think we got one more week to go. I think it's one more week to go, and then the fight is on. One of these guys, has got to go. So, I think now is the time to start putting our last predictions onto this fight. How you feel like it's going to play out. Who's going to win, why they're going to win, how they're going to win, all that good stuff. And, got something in my hair. And I feel like, everybody's predicting, well, all the Gervonta Davis fans are predicting the KO for Gervonta. The Ryan Garcia fans predicting a KO for Ryan. My thing is this. Does a knockout really matter? When you have two superstar fighters, are you really expecting there to be a knockout? Because both of these guys' skill levels should be very high. The defense should be high. The offense should be high. The ring IQs, all the good intangibles should be very high. So when you have two guys who are that talented, is it even possible to score a knockout when the competition levels are this high? I think that's my question to the audience. Does it really matter if Davis scores a knockout or if he gets a 12th round decision? Does it matter if Ryan scores a knockout or he gets a 12th round decision? Me personally, I think it would depend on how he got them, both of them. Whether it was Ryan who won or Gervonta who won, if you scored the knockout, I think it would depend on what round it came in. I think for Gervonta, if he don't score a knockout early, I think everybody's going to be disappointed in him because they feel like he's already overmatching Ryan. So I think most fans are going to be expecting him to score something big early. And I think if Ryan makes it past the 8th round, then people will say it was a bad performance on Gervonta Davis's accord. Now, he might dominate the whole fight, but I think the same way that they gave Ryan Ennis grief for not knocking out Curran, they're going to give Gervonta Davis grief for knocking out Ryan. Even though Ryan Ennis dominated every round of that fight, he still got grief because he wasn't able to score that knockout.
I never try to be too trendy ever because at some point it goes out of style. It's easy to think you're cool because you're copying somebody else. To be an individual and to do things different and to be first, that's what I consider real cool.
Now, if he doesn't score the knockout and he actually takes it 12 rounds, but still wins and still dominates the fight once again, I think that he's going to get some grief for not only not knocking him out, but allowing him to survive for 12 rounds. I think he's going to get a lot of grief. You're going to hear a lot of Devin Haney fans start to knock Gervonta Davis for basically they're going to probably say that his skill sets are degrading. And he's not the knockout artist he once was. Even though it's only been a few months since he knocked out Mario Barrios and Leo Santa Cruz. It's still only been a few months. So, that's Gervonta. Now, when it comes to Ryan, I think if Ryan was to score an early knockout, I think people would be, especially his fans, would be overly ecstatic about that because I don't think anybody's expecting Ryan to win the fight. So, anything that Ryan can score big early, it's going to be a plus on his side. And as a matter of fact, I think if he scores a knockout, period, if he knocks Gervonta down, period, I think it's going to be a big deal for Ryan Garcia fans. I think any detractor of Gervonta Davis is really going to give him grief if Ryan scores anything as far as a knockdown, a knockout, they're really going to let Gervonta Davis have it after that. Now, if Ryan was able to score a 12th round decision over Gervonta, I think that might even be worse than the getting knocked out. Because if he gets a 12th round decision, that means he dominated at least 60% of the fight. So I think they're really going to give Gervonta Davis some grief. And if he can dominate him for 6 rounds, I mean, who can argue that he's better than Gervonta Davis? I think that's even worse to get it knocked out. If he gets knocked out, I mean, you can get a flash knockout. You know, you can get a Manny Pacquiao knockout like Marquez, just a lucky punch. You know, I think a lucky punch would be less impactful than him dominating him for 60% of the fight. Once again, that it'll be worse for Gervonta if he allows Ryan to beat him for 6 rounds. And we all know Gervonta Davis is known for starting slow sometimes, but those slow starts are for a reason. I keep telling people he's doing that for a reason. But in a fight like this, a slow start, it could cost Gervonta Davis, because we don't know how the judges out in Cali are going to treat Davis. We don't know if they like him or not. We don't know if the ref's going to be more for Davis than he is for Ryan. You know, he's not back in Baltimore for this fight, so there's a lot of variables that could take place in this fight that Gervonta Davis just isn't used to, and it could really impact the fight. And I think it's gonna depend. This fight is gonna depend on who starts the fight early. If Ryan comes out and wins those first 3 rounds, it could be a long night for Gervonta Davis, and he could really pick up the pace after that. You know, all he would need to do is win 3 more rounds, and he pretty much got the fight, unless Gervonta was able to score a late stoppage, you know, with a knockout or something. So to me, I think I really feel like Gervonta Davis has to come out. If you're not planning on knocking him out, you know, just planning on beating him up for 12 rounds, just make sure you get those first 3 rounds in the bag, and you can pretty much just toy around with him after that. You know, put on a show people that you're that much better than them, and just really trying to embarrass them, because I think that's what Gervonta Davis is really trying to go for in this fight. I think there's a lot of bad blood between these guys. They have a little bit of respect for each other as far as skill sets, but I think there's more bad blood than it is respect. So I think Ryan's looking to embarrass Gervonta, and Gervonta's looking to embarrass Ryan Garcia. And if he can do that for 12 rounds, best believe he's going to do that. But I don't feel like a knockout is necessary on either side, because once again, a 12th round domination of your opponent is much more devastating than a knockout. Just my opinion. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all of that down in the comment section below. Hit that like button for me. Share. Subscribe. Holla at me on all social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. More than likely to get a response on the tube. So holla at me over there. If you want to collabo, hit my Gmail, flockofcards@gmail.com. And we are mine.
From Louisville to London, I bet this here let them know where I come from. I bet this here make the cops pull stun guns. I bet this here make the best chick nerve. I start shaking the onion, back and forth at the back of a horse. You see him getting money on the avenue. This Louis Keys player didn't know that you do. I'm a fool on the track, smooth on the track. They stuck to the wall like glues on their back. Until they play this, they don't know how to act. Overheard them spitting game, you don't know how to mac. Let me show you something, teach you a thing or two. First off, don't snoop if you ain't the one banging blue. In other words, mind your own. The KY's my home, homie, I'm in the zone. Tell my G's in the place spelling. Tell my girls in the place spelling. Tell my people in the place spelling. It's going down, get right tonight. Tell my G's in the place spelling. Tell my girls in the place spelling. Tell my people in the place, slowly go. It's going down, get right to it. Now some came up around the ones that was moving there. Some came up around the ones that was using it. Me, I was the latter, so I got it in my jeans. 2 sipping pills and a little green. My little homie been serving since 98. Asking for a 50 back. Get your paper straight. It's a paper chase. Don't let your paper waste. Staying low will keep you from the time that you would've faced. But niggas need to see it for themselves. I wish all my peoples would've seen it for they left. But the world keeps spinning, nigga, life or death. So I'm at my own business trying to write myself. Some niggas jot it down, I don't write myself. I just let it breathe, trying to make a better me.